Hello everyone, thanks again for joining me for another video. I would like your help in growing the channel, so please subscribe and hit that like button for more videos like this. Today's project, we're going to go after the pop-up headlights. The motor is not working, so here are the steps I used to fix mine. Hopefully this will help you to fix yours. Before I got started with this project, I made sure I cleaned all the contacts and labeled all the wires and also labeled the wires coming from the car. That makes it easier to put things back together. So getting the motor out of the car was not that difficult. And once we get it out, we'll have to take this plastic cover off. And it also has another plastic cover here on the bottom. I'm going to take that off also. This is a little bit tougher to get off. You want to be careful. You can use a flathead screwdriver to do this, but be careful not to grab any of those wires you see behind the cover. Once we get the plastic cover off, we're going to take these screws out and separate the cover from the motor itself. Okay, so these screws, I had to access them with this screwdriver, a right angle screwdriver. Get in there, open these screws up, and take this cover off. This top has to be pulled off, the top here, and then you pull it apart. So when I pulled it apart, I found some corrosion. I'm going to try to use my trusty Dremel to clean it up and put it back together again, and hopefully it works. So after I pulled it apart, the corrosion was obvious. It wasn't a lot, but it still could have prevented this from working properly. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up with the Dremel. This top part has the magnets inside, but look at the amount of corrosion inside. So we're also going to clean up those metal pieces, and you can see that this one is even worse. Clean that up, put it back together again, and see what happens. Okay, so I took my Dremel and I cleaned off the surface of this. It's nice and shiny, and then I'm gonna go down here and clean that off. You see where those two contacts touch the metal? I'm gonna gently clean that off because there is some corrosion on there. Here's another angle. I rotated it and you can see that there is some serious corrosion on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the corrosion on there with a new wire brush, and once we've cleaned that up, we'll go ahead and reassemble this motor. I'm in the process of cleaning the bottom with my Dremel, and you can see I'm using a gentle, slow cycle brush to just clean that gently, and you can see the difference between the parts that were already cleaned and the part that has a lot of dirt and corrosion on it. You can see the difference. So we're going to go ahead and continue to clean that up before we put this back together again. Alright, I was able to take my Dremel and carefully clean the bottom of this stator. Here it is. Let me try to get the focus a little bit. Here we go. It's nicely cleaned up, but again, you have to be very careful, and I just spin this by hand while cleaning it with the Dremel. Okay, it took me some time to get this all cleaned up, but we are ready to go. But before I actually reassemble this, I did find a problem with the brushes. One of the brush was not touching, so I have to remedy that. This brush right here, you can see, take a closer look. It's a little bit distorted, started breaking down, and it was not touching. That brush is fine and it's touching. So what I had to do was I broke the little tab right on top of here. I'll show you on the other side. This is the tab in question, and to get to that spring you'll have to break the tab off. So I broke this tab off with a flathead screwdriver took the spring out, stretched it a little bit, and put it back in, capped it with some JD Weld so that it wouldn't pop back out, and I let that dry for 24 hours. Now notice that my brush is now touching the stator, and that's what we're looking for. Both brushes have to be touching the stator. I'm pretty much happy with the results here. The JD Weld stuff is holding. It looks like it's holding pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. This was pretty easy to reassemble. You just go ahead and insert the tab, and the screws go right into the tab to hold the cover to the body. Also, here's a shot of the wiring diagram, just in case anybody is having trouble with their wiring. After much pulling and prodding with the use of my screwdriver, I was able to fit the bottom part back on. That's the hard part. The easy part is getting the top part on. But here it is, all done, ready to go. And let's go ahead and put this back in the car. You have to be mindful of the wire assignments though. Numbered. So we're gonna go in and put it back. So here it is back in the car. It's now working, as you could see, but it's supposed to stop when it gets to the highest point, so there's still some adjustments that have to be made. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that, and I will let you know in the next video. Thanks for watching.